Hi everybody, my name is Angelo Paura. I'm a correspondent here in New York for an Italian newspaper called Il Sole 24 Ore, and I'm here to talk to you about virtual reality and the future of journalism. But let me start with a story. This guy here is not a spiritual leader, but is Tiziano Terzani, one of the most prominent war reporter of the last century. And I met him 10 years ago when I was a young reporter, and I talked to him and I tried to ask him, how can I become a journalist? And he told me, you can never say I'm a journalist, but you have to be in the right place at the right moment. You see the horizon, but you can never reach it. So you have to be in movement, and this is journalism. So after 10 years, I decided to apply and to follow his suggestion and to start exploring what's next in journalism. But I felt stuck in a desert. Too many stories and too many issues. So I ended up narrow down my topics, and I decided to work with the immersive journalism community. Why VR? Because I think it is the next big thing in journalism after the PC revolution and after the internet and after mobile, we have virtual reality. I give you some data. By 2025, we are going to have a market value of 80 billions, and the user will be $500 million, so a pretty big share. So I start listening to my community, and I understand that is a really diverse community, is a super spread out, and with different points of view and full of conflicts. The stakeholders, that is creatives, developers, entrepreneurs, journalists and producer, and media theorists. During the listening and using the social journalism tools, I understood, which is the main issues inside the community. We have a big ethical question, and in this moment of fake news and populism, it's really important make clear what is journalism and what is entertainment. We have also lack of investment and cost, and at the same time, we have a problem of penetration in the newsroom and within the consumers' communities. How I engage my community. So I start with surveys, with Google Groups, with direct contact, and with VR events, going to VR events. My outreach, I reach roughly 100 stakeholders. I did 4 surveys, 10 interviews, and I participated to 12 events. Some outcomes, I get more credibility and trust inside the community. I find the real needs of my community, and I develop services and story for the people. So here, some of my works. The first one is Hacking Journalism, that is basically a video interview platform to describe the conflict and to create a space to share. This is the landing page, and here you have some of the people that I interview. This is Douglas Rashkov, media theorist, that is pretty sure that VR is just for advertising and not for journalism. I interviewed Jimmy Pallot, one of the pioneer of immersive journalism, and then I interview Ethan Zuckerman, the director of the Center of Civic Media at MIT, and Jeff Jarvis here at CUNY. Then I produce a podcast called Atacama, exploring how technology is changing our perception, politics, and the society in which we live. This is the landing page, and here is me working on the podcast. I want to show you a really quick promo of the podcast. So let me come back to the presentation. So during this year, I also wrote articles for my newspaper, Sole 24 Ore. I did audio reportage for Radio 24, that is an Italian radio station. And also I wrote some Medium posts. Here there is some of my products. And I'm actually work on a VR story, a feature story about virtual reality and the problem of ethics in journalism. Here are some of my metrics on Medium. And finally, the event. So I organized here at CUNY an event with Jimmy Pallot, that is like the founder of Emblematic, one of the most important outlet for immersive journalism. And here you have some photo of the event. So what's next? I'm in the process to sell my podcast in Italy. That is 5 episodes and the first series. And then next year I'm going to work in Italy with some Italian journalism school in Milan, Turin, and Rome to do literacy and to describe my research to the students. My research that is like a work in progress, but because as Jaron Lanier told us, VR is a preview of what might be like when technology gets better someday. Thank you.